Good evening and welcome to the Gary Goff Show here on WTTF, Cool FM 93.3 and at WTTF.com. My name is Russ Snyder alongside Tiffin University head football coach Gary Goff. Coach, how are you on this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing not too bad at all. Our program tonight is brought to you by Tiffin Ace Hardware, the Animal Hospital of Tiffin, Sierra Professionals, Gary Gruse's office, Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Jim Kennedy's office, State Farm Insurance at Leip's office, and Steyer Seed. So, Coach, we are approaching the halfway point of our season. I guess midweek this week would be technically halfway point. After this game this weekend will be halfway. Have you learned a lot about your kids so far?
I have. We got a lot of new guys playing in positions, young faces out there. But, I feel like we are getting better every week. We're growing as a team. And, the guys are fighting to the very end. I can say that about them. They're not giving up by no means. And that's encouraging. We just got to take the next step and start playing as a team. We'll have one side of the ball play really good and the other side, very mediocre one week. And we got to learn how to play together, become a real team.
Well, the what was going on before you got here, Coach, that's winning mentality just wasn't here.
Right.
So you've had to really take something from here, recycle it all the way back up to here. I mean, it's a long process, and you can see the changes in the kids, you can see the changes in the staff, but it's that next step, more W's on the board. Yeah,
winning's a habit, and unfortunately, sometimes losing's a habit. Yeah. And we got to really concentrate on winning every individual battle. We preached that hard last week, and then play together as a team. We can't come out and wait for things to happen before we wake up and start playing, or wait for somebody to make a big play. We got to be mature enough to go out there and make that play ourselves and not sit back and let something happen first.
Well, this past weekend, let's get back to it. Second time in a row going to Malone and Canton's Fawcett Stadium that we get free football with the extra overtime sessions. Well, last year was 3 overtimes on a Thursday night.
Yes.
This past Saturday, a double overtime affair where the Dragons fall 33-27 in an incredibly hard-fought football game. Coach, before we dive into it, just some of your initial thoughts.
Well, I tell you what, I guess every time we go to Canton, we might as well plan on playing a game and a half.
Getting home early.
No, I tell you what a great atmosphere, great venue. We had a great crowd ourselves. Yeah. The fans came out and supported us, which was very exciting for our players. But it's just it was almost deja vu, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
We came out and we're playing very well. We had trouble stopping their option, and you blink the eye, and here it is, overtime. It seems like the game flew by for us.
Yeah. Well, a little running back, Malik Felton, quicker than all get out. They had some. That's what I think Malone's strength is. They're some of their skill guys. They got some quick feet on that team.
Yeah,
Felton, he did some damage on the ground.
Yeah, their running backs can run for sure, and they had 2 quarterbacks. They had a freshman quarterback come in that played very well.
Yeah, a young man from Alabama, I believe. Yeah, they had kids on that team from all over. They had a kid from Honolulu, Hawaii, on their roster.
Do they really? I didn't see that.
How do you get a kid from Honolulu to come up to Canton and play some football in late fall weather in Ohio? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where they recruit. I mean, we don't really run across them that much in recruiting. No. But I know it's a Christian school, so maybe they can reach out to a lot of other states. Yeah.
So 7 lead changes in our game this past Saturday. As you said, it was a roller coaster ride, up and down, and Malone's ability to run the ball and capitalize on a couple of mistakes by the Dragons probably was a difference in the ball game.
Yeah, definitely. They had a 96-yard drive that took about 11 and a half minutes off the clock. They had another, I think, 87-yard drive that took 8 minutes off the clock. Unfortunately, we only forced them to punt once, and we did block it, and that got us into the game there at the end. But it's just you got to play assignment football when you're facing a team that runs the option like that, and we couldn't get off a few blocks and didn't make some plays that we should have filled some gaps, and they were able to control the run game and control the clock, and that's pretty much this conference. If anybody can control the clock and run the football, they're going to be hard to beat.
Absolutely.
I think that was the difference between this year and a year ago. A year ago we turned the ball over quite a bit, and that's what allowed them to hang in the game and catch up and get into the overtime periods. And then, this year we really didn't have those turnovers, and they managed to hang on to the football almost the entire game. And
6-minute advantage in time of possession.
Yeah, so that was a big difference, I think, in this season, and why it took us to overtime again.
Well, you mentioned the block punt, Thron Carter. with the block punt. He had a real nice game. We think this game we said his name more than we have in any previous games. So after you watch film, did he have a pretty good game?
Yeah, he did. He played a solid football game. And I'll tell you what, Josh Eisen, our special teams coach, has been doing a great job with our special teams. This is the second week in a row that, we blocked a punt, and which got us into the game. So, anyway, actually, we're going to have Coach Eisen on the show a little bit later.
Look at you, broadcast guy all of a sudden with that tease.
Leading in a little bit,
Coach Eisen's name. Good work, Coach. You're getting more comfortable with this stuff.
But, yeah, no, he's done a great job with our special teams all season. And we do a lot of different things in all of our special teams to, hopefully cause our opponents to spend an extra time in preparation. It definitely was a big block for us, and Carter made a big play.
Talk a little bit about going into an overtime session from a coaching standpoint. I mean, you don't prepare for overtime, I wouldn't think, during the week as you get to it. But how does your mindset change when you get to overtime? Because, you got that 25 yards going in, knowing either they got the ball first, they're going to get 3 or 7, and we got to try to match it. How's the mindset change when it gets to overtime?
Well, the first thing is you want to see whether you're playing offense or defense first. I mean, obviously you want to play defense first, so that way you can see, do you have to match? Yeah. Do you have to go for the touchdown, or can you kick 3 to tie or win? So that comes into play. And then I think the second thing is, you want to have a positive play on first down, so therefore you're close enough to be in field goal range and maybe take a shot here or there to the end zone. But, it is something that we do practice that throughout the week. And not necessarily telling the kids, hey, here's our overtime plays or here's what we're doing. But, we do have a handful of plays that we will continue to rep throughout the week in preparation for that overtime period. And if we get there, fine. And if not, we might spend those plays throughout the course of the game even, you know.
Absolutely.
But because we know huddle and we like to play fast, that really doesn't affect us there. And we don't have to worry about exactly what we're calling. And obviously the clock doesn't come into play in overtime. So, biggest thing is making sure you get points off that drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we didn't have the luxury of watching the game film afterwards, but some kids I thought maybe had a pretty good game. Tyler Jones, wide receiver, seemed like he had a pretty good game for you offensively.
He did. I'll tell you what, a smart young man who he was an ex-quarterback in high school. And he's like having an extra quarterback on the field at times because he understands the defenses. He can come to the sideline and tell you, hey, coach, that receiver, he was covered because this defender ran to that zone. Or, coach, we might want to look at doing this right here because they're all man. And so
it's nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I tell you what, if in this offense, if you got some receivers who understand the defense and understand, sit and zone, run through man and stuff like that, then it helps our quarterback tremendously. And Tyler Jones is that type of player, and he's a special young man too. He is. They came here last spring and shot a documentary on Tyler Jones.
Really?
Yeah, he's a member of a club, and from the Akron area that has been following him since he was like 8 years old.
Okay.
And they came here and shot the film, some documentary. I hadn't seen it yet. I don't know if it's finished yet or been sent out yet, but it was pretty funny because in our meetings they set up the cameras in here and they told us, hey, don't look into the cameras. Act like we're not here.
We're not here.
And we gave Tyler a hard time because everybody was calling him Denzel Washington, and he was asking the proper questions that day too. Hey, Coach Goff, did we do a good job right here on this play? Or, oh, yes, sir, I understand that. So, he was trying to act, a little bit.
For sure, I can see that. Well, on the defense side of the ball, Keith Butts led your team in tackles with 9 tackles and had a sack as well. He seemed to be flying all over the place, as well as some of your defensive backs, Antonio Wetter and Mike Virgin, had a lot of tackles as well. And then Brian McCorkle. But the one kid I think who played a really good game, who was really hitting hard, was Kyle Finch.
Yeah.
Kyle Finch seemed like he was all over the field.
Kyle Finch is one of our true freshmen who's playing. And like any true freshman, he needs a year in the weight room to get a little bigger, faster, and stronger. But I tell you what, he has got great football instincts, and he is a tough person. Yeah. He is tough. And that's why he won the starting job right there at Sam linebacker coming out of camp. And he flies around. Now, he makes his mistakes here and there like a lot of freshmen are going to do. But he also comes up with some big plays, some big moments, and he had a great interception there that he took for one of the slot receivers, and that kid's going to be a great player for many years to come in our conference.
Was this the hardest hitting game you guys have had this year? It seemed like it from the booth.
It was a physical game, no question about that.
I know Marcus took a big hit on that catch in the fourth quarter down by the goal line, was able to hang on to the ball. And
yeah, Marcus did, and then so did Bertram Marks.
Yes,
same thing, took a big hit. Probably this game and then even Michigan Tech. I mean, I thought Michigan Tech was a very physical football team and big and strong. I mean, Malone had some younger guys playing kind of like us too, so, we weren't going up against a 27-year-old defensive lineman like at Michigan Tech.
Hey, you are tuned into the Gary Goff Show here on WTTF and Cool FM 93.3 as well as WTTF.com. So, Coach, your last thoughts, and we'll wrap up the talk on Malone, and we'll get ready to focus on our big rivalry game coming up next week. So, your final thoughts on the game against Malone?
Well, like I stated at the beginning of the show, we just got to come out and play together as a team and not sit there and wait for things to happen before we get excited. But I was very, very pleased with the guys for fighting all the way to the end. We were down by 10 points with 4 minutes to go in the football game. And, we had Dan Pitts come into the game and lead us down for a drive, and then defense had a big stop on 4th and short.
Oh, man, when they came out to measure that, it looked like, because that was right in front of our vantage point as well. It seemed like a lot of the big moments of the game happened right on our end of the field. It was very nice when you're calling
right.
it, very nice. But, when they brought you could tell that it was short, but you just weren't sure. But, boy.
I mean, it was by, a piece of hair,
Absolutely.
But, the defense had a big stop right there, which we needed. And then, we drove down and kicked the tying field goal, I think, with about 6 seconds left. So, I thought we had the momentum going into overtime. And that first overtime, they had to settle for a field goal. And, he kicked that ball about as low and as ugly as you can.
Hits the crossbar, or the upright. And then just barely falls across the crossbar.
And kind of bounces back in.
Yeah.
It's just,
I was able to will it through at best. I mean, come on.
I think I made the statement to Zach Baker. He called me after the game on the phone. I said, the football gods just didn't smile on us right there on that play.
Absolutely.
But I thought we had the momentum right there. And then, we got the ball in overtime. And I tell you, we were just real close from a big play right there by our running back, Dominique White. Almost broke a run to end the game. Yeah. And just didn't happen. So, went back and forth in the overtime. But, our kids didn't give up at all. They rose to the challenge. I just wish, we'd have played like that earlier in the third quarter. Because I think the third quarter is when we came out and relaxed a little bit. Yeah. It was only a 14-10 game. We had the lead at halftime. But, I felt like our kids just assumed we got the lead. It's going to be easy from here on out. Mm-hmm. And that's something we got to mature with a little bit and come out and don't take anything for granted. And I tell them all the time at halftime, hey, 0-0 football game.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Yeah. But, sometimes you got to learn the hard way, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's never easy, Coach. It's never easy. But, that pot of gold over the rainbows out there eventually. But
it's there. We're going that way. Looking forward.
But as you said, Coach, it's never easy. Absolutely not, especially in a conference like the GLIAC.
Right.
And then next week we go on the road to take on the University of Findlay, and we'll tell you all about that in our next segment. You listen to the Gary Goff Show here at WTTF, Cool FM 93.3, and WTTF.com. We'll be back after this on the BAS Sports Radio Network.